Okay, and now for the fourth sampler of the day. We have something that's not actually from Lanikai Brewing. It's from another local brewer who I've never reviewed before. Mostly because I don't get around to the side of town where their beers are sold. And that is Hana Brewing Company. And this is Ex-Matcha-Na beer. And this is a beer that is brewed with the addition of green tea matcha powder. Now, probably don't know this about me, but I love tea as much as beer. I don't review tea, but matcha is a personal favorite of mine. And already before you can even taste this, you can kind of see from the video that it has this nice slightly green tint to it. A greenish yellow, cloudy greenish yellow. This is a nitrogenated ale, not carbonated, so probably really smooth in the mouthfeel. And yeah, I believe this is either 5.2 or 5.4 ABV. I can't recall. I don't have a menu in front of me. I'm kind of going by memory here. So yeah, let's just get to the nosing and the tasting of this, shall we? So, Ex-Matcha-Na. This is technically golden ale in style. So I guess it's a golden ale base in regards to the brew recipe for the malts and the hops. So let's get to this, shall we? Ooh. So you have that golden ale fruitiness, but underneath and all around it is this wonderful matcha earthiness. It's like two separate poles there in flavor, or in scent, I suppose. It's quite an interesting combination, to say the least. I would be lying if I didn't say it didn't clash just a wee. I'm kind of wondering now if all you guys can hear is the traffic noises. But such is the vicissitudes of life, yes? So let's get to the tasting of this, shall we? Silky smooth, creamy mouthfeel, as you would expect from a nitrogenated ale. That wonderful matcha earthiness is in the long finish. Very much that matcha tea-like finish sans the bitterness of matcha. Actually quite sweet up front. I don't believe this was supposed to have IBUs, but I believe the IBUs would be very low on this. This is quite sweet. Not much hot bitterness, and it seems like a very high density overall. This is very different, I have to say. Very different. This is really hard for me to place. So in regards to flaws, I would say that for something in the 5% range, this is abnormally boozy in the taste notes. There's a booziness that emerge in the mids. Don't know why that is, since this is, not very high octane ABV. I can see why they chose a nitrogenated aspect, because they really wanted to emphasize the matcha in the mouthfeel. Matcha generally tends to have like this sort of, if it's made right, it tends to have this sort of creamy, soft mouthfeel. But I'm kind of wondering why they used a golden ale base. Did they want something that was fairly neutral and subtle, so that that matcha could shine? But at the same time, the sweetness and that basic fruity aspect from the golden ale, it 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 doesn't play well on my palate, at least. Your mileage may vary, as with all reviews in that regard. It is just mildly growing on me. No, I'm trying to think of what would be a better, malt base for this, and I honestly can't think of any. As it warms up, this is probably the longest review so far, just because of the sheer cognitive dissonance that I'm getting from this beer. The more vegetal aspects of the matcha are starting to emerge, and it's making it somewhat interesting, honestly. But to be honest, if I'm going to boil it down, and I believe the fact that I've actually had just a wee bit to drink, I really think that my issue is not so much with the golden ale base, but the overall sweetness of this. It's that matcha. When I have matcha, the only sweetness I expect, because you're not supposed to add sugar to matcha, is a very subtle sweetness from the tea leaf itself. This is really sweet, and and that's really the most jarring aspect of it. When tasting this particular beer here. So, Ex-Matcha-Na. This is going on to the length of my usual reviews, so my usual sit-down reviews. But, yeah, so what can we say about this? Really out there adjunct combination, I suppose, for a flavor. Not really to my taste. I would prefer a lot less sweetness, maybe a different malt base going on there, malt yeast base going on. But yeah, give it a shot if you can. Again, this is from Hana Brewing. So maybe one or two more reviews. I still got a lot of time to kill before my car is done. Okay. See you then.